Hey, it is Whitney K, business coach, marketing agency owner, and your host of the Uno Mas podcast, where overwhelmed female entrepreneurs and founders come to get real, actionable advice on how to ditch burnout and build a business that actually works for them. Here you'll access tips, proven strategies, and unfiltered conversations with industry leaders. Have you ever felt like your Instagram account is beyond repair? Like, you know, the pit in your stomach when you feel something is seriously wrong with your account and you have to start over, but everything inside of you is holding on to the nostalgia and the years that you have poured effort into building that account? Yeah, I'm there. I'm there in this moment right now. And I'm going to talk to you about how I came to the decision to pull the plug and start brand new. So let's go ahead and dive right in. I know that's like the most unattractive way to start a new episode, but that's how I feel. Y'all, we are to the point where the plug on the Instagram account, The Whitney K, has been pulled. I today am stating for all of you and myself to hold myself accountable, a new Instagram account. And that account is Hey Whitney K, HeyWhitneyKay. Please go give me a follow. But let's dive into this because let's be real. Many of us come to this point, whether you are starting a new venture, starting a new business opportunity, or maybe you're in a full-on rebrand, or maybe you're just to the point where everything feels kind of stagnant and still, and you start questioning and asking yourself, like, is this time or is this the time for me to start over, to start a brand new account? And whatever your main platform is, it doesn't matter if it's just Instagram, maybe it's TikTok or Facebook or LinkedIn or Pinterest or whatever it might be. If you have been doing the work for a good amount of time and things are just kind of plummeting for you, you're thinking this. Or like I said, you might be starting something new and getting to the point of thinking this might be a good opportunity for me to start fresh. Well, there are some good indicators on whether you should or should not. And I'm going to talk to you about that today. But I'm going to share through my personal experience and kind of like what got me to this point, because I've been dragging my feet, if I'm going to be real with you. I've been super hesitant to do this. And I think it's because I have had a really long relationship with this account. And just the fact of starting anything new is just kind of unsettling. Like, nobody wants to step out of their comfort zone, but here I am coaching women every single day on to do it, but hesitant to do it myself. Like, that doesn't make sense, but it's real, right? So what had happened was is on the Whitney K account that I used to have and grew to around 15,000 followers at one point, had several videos go mega viral. I had started that account in 2014. Now you're probably thinking, dang, that is an old account. And it is old. I started it in 2014, but I didn't start posting on it right away because if I'm being honest with you, I was one of those later adopters to Instagram because I was like, I'm not going to a new platform. Like, screw this. Facebook is everything. And if I'm telling my age right now, that's okay. I am. So I was hesitant to move on over to Instagram, but 3 years into me just kind of creating an account on there, and really I created the account, which I'm sure some of you have done this before, where you kind of just create the account to have the username, but have no intention of really building over there. You just kind of want to buy up that real estate and have that brand property for yourself. That's what I did. So I sat on it for like 3 years and finally got around to really posting on it. And I started growing an audience and, I started building a community over there and really having fun with the creative outlet that I believe Instagram allows for creators. And it was just truly enjoyable for me. And it wasn't long that that platform became my sole creative outlet platform. And that was like where I really started creating content before I diversified or cross-pollinated, if you want to say, to other platforms. And then it grew, like I said, to upwards of, 15,000 followers. And yeah, that had a lot to do with the fact that not a lot, but several of my videos went viral. So I was acquiring not necessarily even an audience that I truly wanted, because it was like the viral videos or the videos that went viral weren't even videos that were strictly about my brand or business. It was kind of just me stepping forward into my personality, which isn't that like the what usually happens. Like, it's like the videos that aren't about your brand or business, those are the ones that pop off. But the ones where you're like putting all the effort into talking about what it is that you do and who it is that you are and what it is that you have to offer, those just don't ever move, right? Well, that's what happened. And I got to the point where I was just like, wow, I've grown this account and I know I've had a couple videos go viral, but I think along with that, a lot of spam and bot accounts had been acquired as followers. I had never participated in a follow for follow. I had never participated in an engagement pod. I had never participated in buying followers with any type of agency. And I highly encourage you to not do that, because it can have detrimental effects on your account's growth, its reach, and overall just status. So I wasn't worried about any of that, but I was worried with the fact that several viral videos popped off, and I know I acquired an audience of maybe people that really weren't very active, but just saw the video, or bot and spam accounts through those videos going viral. So I told my assistant at the time, I think it's a genius idea to go in and delete or locate and find these spam and bot accounts, and let's go through a purge. And this was just genius. It was like at the end of a year, starting fresh and going into a new year. And I just thought, this is like my fresh start, my clean slate, really narrowing down who is real and needs to be here versus who is not and needs to just go away. Well, oh, how quickly I realized how detrimental that decision was on my account and the status of my account and the growth of my account and the reach of my content, because everything from that moment seemed to have plummeted. I was losing followers. Not just the followers I was like willingly kicking off, like followers by the hundreds after that I was like, whoa, where are you going? What you doing? Now, granted, some of them might have been during the purge that Instagram themselves was doing, when they were going, that period of time where they were kind of deleting bot and spam accounts, and they outwardly said that they were going to do that. So they were probably helping me in what I was trying to do. But I was also losing like a lot of people. And my engagement and my reach was like, oh my gosh, it was kind of really hard to look at, if I'm being honest. If you have a following of like 5 to 10,000 followers and you are getting like 17 views on your reels, and the only views that you're getting when you look at your insights are being pushed to current followers, when we already know that only 20% of your current following actually sees your content. So it was almost like 20% of my current following is seeing my content, but like a fraction of those people are actually watching the video. And my content wasn't even at all being pushed out to a new audience, the untapped audience. And I was like, what the heck is going on? So then I was just like, okay, it's just a phase. It's just a period of time. What do we always do? It's just we keep creating. And that's what I started to do. So I kept creating, and then I started getting like really strategic about what I was doing. I started doing all the things that I know to do as a strategist and somebody that has been in this industry for a really long time to grow my account. to create content, captivating content, speaking directly to my audience, following the trends, participating in all the things I know that you need to do and the tools you need to apply to content, producing more reels to tap into that unreached audience rather than producing still photos and oh my God, carousels to tap into your current audience. I was doing all the things. And it just it wasn't going anywhere. It was like stagnant. Again, nothing was moving. And for the past, I would say 6 months, I've had occasional reels that will get into the couple thousands of views, but a majority, if not all of them, are barely into the 300 views. And I'll be honest with you, and no engagement, like 1 or 2 likes, if that, no shares, no saves. And I know that I'm doing what I need to do. And I'm going to touch on these points on how do you know when it really is time to move? And I'm going to touch on them in a minute, but I was not getting anything. And my engagement rate was well below the average, well below the lowest of low average. And I've just gotten to this point where as hard as it is to make this decision, I know that it's dead. Like we've flatlined, and I just need to face the reality of coming to the conclusion that we need to start fresh and we need to start new. So, what are really the key indicators? Let's talk about this, because this is kind of what I had to go through myself. These are the questions I really had to ask myself in order to come to this like ultimate conclusion. And, I'm going to kind of play it in 2 different scenarios. So number 1, am I rebranding? The answer is no. That is one thing. If you're like in the automotive industry and then all of a sudden you're showing up as a digital creator that creates digital products and you're a coach or whatever, that is completely different than the automotive industry. In that case, yeah, starting a new account might make sense for you, or would make sense for you. So I wasn't rebranding, like the content was still the same. The next question is the account, really old? If it's a fairly new account and you're still kind of not seeing the engagement you want, it's still kind of too new, I would say, to pull the plug and start new. So the answer here was, yeah, it was an old account. I started this account in 2014. Now, granted, I sat on it for 3 years. It still doesn't matter. It's older than newer, I guess, if you want to say. So that was a good key indicator. The next one was, did you participate in any pods, engagement pods, follow for follow, agency where you purchase followers? My answer was no. So that's good. I was like, okay, no, I didn't do that. So you might not want to delete your account and start new. But if you did do that, that would be a good indicator that, yeah, maybe you do want to start fresh, because that's not a good look and you're not really having the audience that you need to have in order to scale an authentic and genuine brand that truly and honestly where you're speaking to your core and ideal audience. Then my next question was, have I been consistent? And yeah, I have. I've been consistent for years. And we're talking, are you posting every day? Are you showing up in your stories every day? Are you jumping on your account and engaging with other people every day? Now, I'm not talking every day for the past 3 days or just the past couple weeks, but I'm talking for 6 solid months. And in my case, I had been doing it for a couple years. So yeah, I have been consistent. Now, if you need to take a day or 2 off, that's understandable, but your days of activity need to be more than your days of inactivity in order to say that you have been consistent. And for that matter, yes, I had been. If you're not consistent, then maybe it isn't time to pull the plug and start new. You have to be consistent for a good duration of time in order to get to that point of saying, yeah, I've been consistent for a really long time and things still aren't moving. The needle's not budging. My next question was, am I creating high quality content? Now, that can be relative. I understand that, because I'm all for that in the moment, walking down the street, going for a jog, creating content while you're running or walking or whatever. That's kind of like in the moment. That's not sit down, highly produced captions and all of that. But when I say high quality content, like, is your camera lens clear? Are you, looking somewhat decent instead of looking like a hot mess, like you didn't even care to put yourself together to create the content? Is your content on brand? Is it on topic? Are you having consistency, in your captions, if you're using captions or animations or transitions? Like, are you producing higher quality content rather than the people that just show up and look messy? And y'all know what I mean by that. Like, we know horrible content creators and low quality content versus high. Like, if I have to explain what that looks like for you, then I don't know what to say, because I can tell, right? I can tell. So if you have been creating higher quality content and really putting the efforts into what it is that you're creating and putting out there, then and you're still not seeing the engagement along with all of the other indicators, then yeah, it might be time for you to start new. But if your account, again, isn't that old and you haven't really been consistent and you haven't really been creating the highest quality content, then maybe it's time for you to dig your heels in and put in the effort in order to grow and scale your account and see what could potentially happen over a duration of 6 months to a year. And if nothing's happening, then yeah, maybe you want to start a new account. But again, you don't need to pull the plug if all of those are like, no, I haven't been consistent. No, the account's kind of new. And no, I'm not really producing high quality content. Well, do all of those 3 things and then come to your conclusion. But if you are not doing that, then sit where you are and try putting in the effort to build and scale. But all of this I was doing, and I was still struggling, and I was not seeing anything happen. And so there's a lot of other indicators that kind of go into play when assessing whether or not you should or should not, but those are like the main ones that you want to consider. And so I was testing, like I said, all these things, and I've just come to the conclusion over the past 90 days that like, what am I creating content for when I know that there's more opportunity out there? Well, how do I know? Okay. Well, I put this actually to the test, because I am also in the beauty industry and I have a beauty influencer account where that is broken but grafted on Instagram. And that account I started less than a year ago. Okay. I think I started 9 months ago, and I've already grown that to several thousands of followers, had several videos go viral. We're talking over like close to 1 million or over 1 million views. Some of them are still getting hits today, so I really don't know the exact number. But I have a very high engagement rate, and I have many leads coming from that account on the daily. And yes, even though it is completely different content, I still know that it is possible to grow an account from ground zero than not, I know it's possible because I've done it, and I've done it less than a year ago. So I've just had to weigh my options here, but let's just be real. When you put the effort into an account, whether it's several or just a couple years, or in my case, over a decade, we shouldn't even say that. That's me lying, because I didn't really build it for the first 3 years, but close to a decade, we'll say that. That sounds better. Close to a decade, it's hard to walk away from that. It's hard to walk away because you have so much history of creating content. You have so many connections that you've connected with over the years. And yeah, you might not be in communication with them on a daily basis, weekly or even monthly, but the thought of down the line, them coming to your top of mind and being like, oh, I wonder what that person's doing or what they're up to. And you go to look for them, but you completely forget their handle, or like you have now deleted your account and have no way of like accessing them or connecting with them. There's like a little piece of nostalgia there that just kind of sucks, So I get it. I'm there. I've been dragging my feet on doing this, but like I said, I've created the new account. It's Hey Whitney K. I would love for you, if you hear this and listen to this episode, to go give me a follow over there, because that is where, if you are somebody that is looking to, tap into your ideal audience and streamline your business and turn your leads into loyal customers and clients, that is where I'm going to share tips and strategies and all of my knowledge on that account. And if you listen to this podcast because you follow my beauty influencer account, which is Broken But Grafted, awesome, stay there, because I'm still going to be talking about all of that, because that's like a side passion that I love to do. And I am building a business essentially from that account, but it's just completely different. So if you're struggling with whether or not you need to start fresh or not, ask yourself these questions. Ask yourself, am I being consistent? Am I creating high quality content? Is my account newer? Is it kind of older? Have I participated in engagement pods or follow for follows? Or have I bought followers? Am I truly giving it my all? Or am I rebranding into something completely different? And let me speak to those in like the network marketing industry, or not even just that industry, but I say that because I know I have a lot of followers in that industry, that if you are in like a beauty industry and you're speaking about one beauty product and you completely decide to partner with another beauty product, unless there's a contract in place that you cannot talk about the same products or two different products on a same platform, then you absolutely can transition. That is not totally a rebrand. We're talking like your industries are completely different. Your offers are completely different. Your topics and consumers are completely different. If you are just talking from one, or if you're just swaying from one product to another product, but it's in a similar industry, there is an easier transition there. And if you don't really know how to go about doing that, or if you're really wanting to start fresh, or if you're needing help reviving what feels like a dead count, then reach out to me. Please head on over to my Instagram, Hey Whitney K, send me a DM and let's connect, or go on over to the website, agency, all right? And send me a message. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk, because I want to be able to help you navigate this transition or potentially completely new account. Thanks for taking the time to listen in to today's episode on Uno Mas Podcast. What can you do to support the show moving forward? Well, you can subscribe on your favorite platform, leave a review or a rating, because it's your reviews that matter most, and it's your reviews that help us get the show discovered by new listeners. And don't forget to share this episode with your friends, family, and followers on all your social media accounts, tagging me at The Whitney K or at Uno Mas Podcast for a spotlight feature on our social platforms. Now, if you're a female entrepreneur who's ready to ditch the overwhelm, stream your business operations, and create a brand that deeply resonates with your audience, it's time to take the next step. Visit Eden with an IDEN.agency to learn more about my strategic synergy partnership, a personalized one-on-one partnership experience where we'll work together to implement the tools, systems, and strategies you need to scale with confidence, save time, and achieve sustainable growth. Don't wait. Your business deserves clarity, efficiency, and success. So let's make it happen together.